percentages work out in our favor, but it was disruptive. I like to see it more disruptive, getting greedy with the defense. But we had opportunities to get more turnovers and more sacks, and it didn't happen. So there's room to grow on every phase of the game, special teams, defense, and offense. And hate to just pick on the offense. So they did a good job of taking care of the football, but defensively we could have given more short fields and created more big plays and disruption and dominated even more than that.
A lot of ways it just felt like an opener, and you made mistakes from which you can learn in a win, and that's what you take into game two.
Yeah, and just getting better and learning from it. I mean, it's a lot of coaches say that you improve the most from week 1 to week 2, and you know, we'll see if that works next week. I mean, that's the goal, is to make sure that we play better. But I'd like to see a huge improvement. I mean, it wasn't clean enough. There was a lot of mistakes, but there were also some good positives. I mean, our guys are strong up front, which I was really impressed with, and our team showed that we were strong. But now it's a different beast this weekend, you know. So it's a great test for us, and we'll see how we match up, and I feel good about me and my old guys coming to New Orleans and playing them.
Yeah, you're grown men.
Yeah.
All right, Portland State in the books. We're taking our first break, and as we do, we want you to know that you can enjoy a full hot breakfast buffet. Dinner Monday through Wednesday, a kitchen, and a large grassy backyard along the Provo River Trail. All at the Residence Inn Marriott in Provo. Tight end Matt Bushman is coming up later. Coming up next.
BYU Football with Kalani Sitake is presented by Engar Nissan Bora, a proud supporter of BYU and the Cougar community. We hear pigs.
We know we're in for a battle, and we look forward to it.
We're excited about the next game.
Great crowd for week 2, and Kalani, after this venue change, it's BYU and LSU now, and we're talking about LSU, a team that's one of the biggest names in the game. 17 straight years they've been ranked in the preseason top 25. First ever time that BYU and LSU get to face. These are really two of the biggest names in the game going head to head. I know this is one of those games. They talk about the circling on the calendar, but it's one of them.
Yeah, it's fun, and now that it's here, we don't have to worry about our guys looking to the next one, you know. So we'll be focused on this one. And the biggest problem with last week is trying to tell everyone that we're focused mostly on Portland State, and whether guys did that or not, I hope they did, you know. But I tell my kids to make their bed; they don't do it every time. So I imagine our players did, but you know, now we're to this big game, and our guys are excited about it. It's been something that popped out to them when we looked at the schedule, and so let's go. Our guys are excited for the game, and you know, we'll see what happens. I feel confident in our players, and I feel confident that we'll play much better than we did this last week.
Now, it's not every game that gets the comic book treatment, but BYU and LSU, thanks to ESPN and Marvel Comics, got featured in a mock-up here, taking you back to the old school, I think, Captain America, Iron Man from the late 50s era. And you've got the Cougar and you got the Tiger. We've got BYU and LSU, big-time stage on ESPN Saturday night at the Superdome. So that's a cool treatment and another indication that it's a big-time game.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it.
Yeah,
yeah.
People ask you where you can find that shirt you're wearing. I'm sure some people want to know where they can find that comic book cover too. And by the way, that is an epic shirt. I've seen this on a few of the coaches.
It's young Lavelle.
This is buzz cut era Lavelle Edwards on the shirt. The name legend, the word legend beneath it there. And I've seen a lot of the coaches sporting it, and it's a great way another great way to honor Lavelle.
Yeah, we made the shirts through the More to Life Foundation, our foundation for our team, and you know, just. Some people want to buy it. I guess we'll see if we can make it available and maybe have the proceeds go to charity. But the goal isn't to try to make money. It's to try to honor a great mentor of mine, a great mentor to BYU and to the church. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to advertise or anything, but I will advertise for the man and who he is, and hopefully get people talking about Lavelle, because he's always a great subject for people to talk about.
Like the patch did on the weekend as well, on the uniforms.
Yeah, and so whatever we can do to get motivated and keep his memory alive, and keep his, you know, what he's done alive. His influence will always be there, and BYU football is here because of him.
Right on. Okay, let's get to LSU a little bit. You're acquainted with the head coach, Ed Orgeron, from your days in the Pac-12. Your staff knows the defensive coordinator, Dave Aranda, pretty well. And then you all know what Matt Canada, the OC, has done at a bunch of other schools. So that trio right there, you've got two really heavy defensive guys and an innovative offensive mind. And those three guys have this thing ready to roll down in Baton Rouge. First year full-time for Coach Orgeron. Dave Aranda's been there a bit. First year with Coach Canada. But you sort of know what to expect and take what he's done.
Yeah, we do a lot of stuff in each direction, a lot of shifts in motion, stuff that we've seen before. You know, we go way back to Dave Aranda and that defense, and spent a lot of time with him while he was at Utah State and then also Wisconsin. So there's a connection there with Tuyaki and myself, and a lot of coaches on our staff with Ed Lamb. So we know each other. You know, we have. It's not like anybody's just created new different plays that nobody's ever seen, but there'll be a new offense for them, and there'll be something that we haven't seen on film. But as long as we stay fundamentally sound, we should be fine.
Coach Orgeron, defensive coach by trade, and he's got Coach Aranda there with him. It's an excellent defense every year. Led the nation last year in fewest touchdowns allowed, 16 touchdowns allowed in 12 games. That's a good number. You guys were really good, but they were phenomenally good up at the top of the country that way. They've got size, they've got speed, even without Arden Key. He gets a lot of publicity, but he won't play in the first game.
Well, they have a great player. What they've done in the off season in the weight room. Our chances.
Great defensive numbers, but these guys are no slouches on offense. Darius Geis is the main back, and even though Leonard Fournette got most of the press last year, he didn't play as much as Darius Geis did, and he had a tremendous season.
Yeah, and I think he had 1,300 yards and averaged close to 10 yards a carry. You know? So he's a really good player and has a lot of speed. And he's running angry, you know, kind of like how Jamal ran last year. And so we're looking forward to matching up with him, and he was a big offensive line that's physical, and so yeah, we'll see how
that's something in which you take a lot of pride, is that trench that trench battle with guys like Geis.
Yeah, and it's a good measurement to see where we stand. You know, we felt pretty good about last year's run defense, and we still think that we match up well. We think that we've improved on last year, and so we definitely have a lot of plays to make, and want to see our guys be more disruptive than we were against Portland State. And I think if we stick to our stuff and do our game plan and don't make any mental mistakes, we should have a good game plan to go into them with our defense, our offense, and our special teams. And so, yeah, we're just excited. Nobody's happy with how we performed last week, you know, and that's from the whole team. And so this is another opportunity. Although we're thankful for the win, there's another opportunity for us to build on.
Okay, BYU and LSU will be played in the Superdome. Those who purchase tickets through BYU to the game in Houston will see those tickets refunded and will receive an email with detailed information on how to buy priority tickets for this game. Now, if you didn't purchase ticket previously, tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern, purchase tickets in the BYU section through Ticketmaster, and you can go to BYUtickets.com. They'll link you to Ticketmaster. Use the promo code BYUFan. Promo code BYUFan. BYUtickets.com tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern, 10:30 Mountain, through Ticketmaster to get your BYU LSU game tickets. Coming up in our next segment, freshman tight end Matt Bushman joins us. And Kalani, this is a kid that BYU fans have been waiting a long time to see. He signed in the recruiting class of 2014. Now he's finally playing for you. Had a great opener last week.
Oh, yeah, amazing. And it's a natural talent at tight end. I mean, you saw what he did, and we're just barely scratching the surface with him. He's got tons of plays to make, and we saw him in practice all spring and all in the offseason during fall camp, and so he's a big weapon for us, and Tanner likes throwing him the ball, and so he's an outfielder, so he played baseball too, and he's a big kid, and he's getting bigger, so we'll see how it all works, and he's only a freshman.
All right, Matt Bushman is coming up next. Stay with us for that. All right, here at Ken Garff Volkswagen of Orem, we're excited to announce our new dealership will be opening in stores in November. Visit our new showroom on University Parkway. Ken Garff, we hear Cougs. After the break, he is joining us live in studio. Tight end and baseball player Matt Bushman. Kalani Sitake. Tanner sets in the pocket, shuffles to his left, pulls it down, tosses it up. It is caught inside the 30-yard line.
Welcome back back to BYU Football with Kalani Sitake with your host, Greg Wrubell.
All right, we are in Studio C, our new home for BYU Football with Kalani Sitake. Hashtag Sitake Show on the Twitter to join our conversation, which continues now as we welcome in our player guest for the week, a high school sensation from Arizona with roots in Illinois and Louisiana. Let's bring on out freshman tight end Matt Bushman.
How's it going?
Good to see you, Matt.
Good to see you, too.
Thanks for coming. Good to see you.
Thank you.
All right. This is our first time getting a chance to visit with you, and it's been kind of a long time in the making because I had to look back on this. You were part of the 2014 recruiting class.
Right.
And here we are in 2017, and you're finally putting on a BYU uniform. What was that time like from committing to BYU under a different coach to then having everything that happened to you, including your mission, and not coming back to this guy?
Yeah, it was definitely different at first. I mean, I committed in 2014. I did a summer semester before, so I kind of got a glimpse of what it'd be like doing the workouts, seeing that coaching staff, just like how different it was from high school football. But then a month and a half later, I went on my mission, kind of left everything in the dust. You forget about things. You're still hoping the team does well, but you kind of forget about everything that goes on. And then I come back to a new coaching staff. Kind of knew each other when he was at Utah, but not crazy. I mean, I didn't really know what to expect, but it's been awesome coming back. I feel great. I felt welcomed from the start, and it's just been a great experience.
So when you guys were at Utah, you looked at him?
Yeah, I tried to recruit him and committed to BYU, and so I was a little sad about it, but I'm so happy now. So it all works out in the end.
Yeah, it does. So this week's game, moving from Houston to New Orleans, has a really special and unique impact on you from your perspective. It was 12 years ago today that Hurricane Katrina hit Louisiana and hit New Orleans, and you were living there then. Is that right?
Yeah, right.
So Illinois is part of your past too, but then Louisiana. Give us some background there that way.
Yeah, so I was born in Illinois. My dad was doing his studies. And then when I was 1, he went to Tulane University to get his PhD in psychology. So
in New Orleans?
In New Orleans, yeah. Right. So I grew up there, elementary school, all that. Played sports, tackled football since I was 4, turning 5.
Some shots of you from back in the day here.
Yep. That was actually, my mom was telling me that BYU game, we evacuated to Houston after Hurricane Katrina, and on the way to Arizona, we stopped in New Mexico to watch my uncle play. Quinn Gooch is my uncle.
Oh.
So we went to watch him play. And
DB for BYU? Yeah.
Right. So we just kind of, it was a different experience. I didn't really know what to expect. I was 9 years old. But it was definitely hard for my family, hard for all the people. I bet there's guys on the LSU team that went through the same thing, but luckily I got to evacuate. Some of those guys probably didn't have a chance to. They experienced the flood. They experienced the hardship, some of them lived in the refuge in the Superdome where we're going to play.
Yeah.
So it's definitely different. It's awesome. I haven't been back. I went back in 8th grade once and then never went back since. So I'm excited to go back to my hometown, and I rooted the New Orleans Saints on growing up as a kid. I still do. So I'm excited to play in their stadium and see what it's like.
Did a little bit of you cheer for LSU because you were there?
Right. So my parents graduated from graduated from here, from BYU. But when you move to Louisiana, LSU's a big football school. They're a powerhouse. So yeah, I'd cheer for them. I'd cheer for them too. I liked BYU first, but I liked LSU second.
So here we had a game set up in a city that is facing a lot of the things that New Orleans residents faced 12 years ago. And because of that, we end up back in New Orleans. It's kind of a crazy deal from your perspective.
Right. And it's just, we evacuated to Houston. I lived with my mom's cousin for a little bit. There's so many families that we know that moved to Houston. They lived in Houston, and now some of them might be experiencing this hurricane 2 times in their lives. It's just something really rough, and not a good experience to start all over again and go through that hardship. Yeah. But, we're just wishing the best, praying for them. Hopefully everything goes well in Houston, that they can have a quick recovery. And yeah, just wish him the best.
Kalani, did you know of Matt's background that way when this all went down?
No, I didn't know all that. I knew that he was from Arizona because I tried to recruit him, out of Sabino. So I think I tried to tell you you're a safety too. I was just trying to tell him whatever I could to get him interested. So it's been awesome coaching Matt, and there's not much I can do. He's already been prepped well by his family and his parents, and all the things that he's done as a mission, serving a mission. And so I'm just excited and honored to be his coach, and just really proud of the things that he's doing on the field. But there's a lot of things that he does off the field. He's really humble, he's dressed up now, right? He's a handsome kid, but he's humble, and for the stuff that he does, and for the talent that he is, he works so hard. I think he gained 30 pounds quickly, and I think I gained 30 pounds at the same time, but it's a different type of 30 pounds. But he works hard, and he plays hard, and it just makes sense that he's going to be a great football player. And we've seen a little bit of it. I can't wait for him to just have an explosive game, and this would be a good time to do it, right, Matt?
Exactly.
So we'll see what happens.
What do y'all think of Matt's game one, by the way, Saturday against? You're in a position with a lot of tradition here at BYU, and this is some of the greats that have played for this team have been tight ends, and you know some of those names. Who are the guys that you were aware of or mindful of, or maybe try to play like that played tight end here at BYU?
I mean, growing up, having my uncle on the football team, Dennis Pitta. I remember when I was, I think, 10 years old, I got his autograph after a Las Vegas Bowl win. So that was always a fun little experience. I never thought that I'd be playing here, but Chad Lewis, he's been around campus when I got home, and he's been always helping me out. Chris Smith also has been a great help. Johnny Harleen also, grew up watching him. So, I'm excited to be able to play the position, to be able to get playing time as a freshman, and just try to do my best during the games. It's awesome having Tanner throwing the ball, just trusting me to go up and catch the ball sometimes over some defensive backs. So, I'm just grateful for the opportunity and excited to go on to game 2.
Did you know Dennis was at the game Saturday? Did you see him?
I didn't see him, but
I heard on the sideline. He liked what you did. We talked to him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He said the kid's got something. Yeah. So we might see that catch that Dennis was talking about here in the next segment. Baseball. Coach mentioned earlier you're a football guy and a baseball guy. Did you always intend on being a two-sport athlete at this level?
Not really. In high school, I played football, basketball, baseball just for fun. Always focused on football, but baseball's just been fun. I just had the opportunity. My junior year, I started getting recruited my sophomore year for football, but my junior year for baseball. So once I started getting offers from the same schools, I was just like, okay, maybe I can do the same thing. Started talking to the coaches, and they were a little skeptical about it, but then they allowed me to do it. And once I got back from my mission, I didn't know how Coach Sitake would feel about it, and he was really nice.
How do you feel about it?
No, I wish there's 20 of them. Just like the Warners last week. This is what you think of when you're trying to build a team with an explosive tight end. There's guys like Matt Bushman and Moroni, and we had Tanner Baldry last year that started for us, and so it's a good group, and you have Hunter Marshall, so it's a good group, and they all bring different things to the table. But Matt does a lot of it naturally. It's easy for him, and catching the ball, it just makes sense. He plays baseball, you got to catch that ball. So he's an outfielder. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Now there's a dorm. Now you're a left-handed hitter, right?
Yep.
Okay. So there's a dorm in outside right field at Miller Park. May Hall is the name of the dorm, and I'm told that batting practice, you can hit some bombs and hit the dorm, hit May Hall. Is that true?
I don't know about that. I like trying to hit home runs. That's what I like about baseball. So, I've hit a couple. It was tough at first. When I first got home, I could not hit to save my life. But as time went on, I started hitting better and better, and just had good coaches, just like I do with the football team. They were patient with me and helped me get better.
Now hoping for some home runs on the gridiron as well. We've got more with Matt Bushman straight ahead. When we come back, we'll bring live studio audience questions into the mix along with social media. This is BYU Football with Kalani Sitake. We'll do one more segment.
Okay.
Good job. Good job. That's good.
He could stay the whole time.
What's that?
Which field, right or left?
Left. Oh, I'm in right. I'm left-handed, but I throw left. Yeah.
Hey.
Huh?
What's that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So do you guys want Matt to hang around after the show though?
We can do both.
Can you hang around and take pictures of some of the guys?
Yeah.
People?
Promise this is the last one.
We can fight the palm tree. You're not even going to take pictures of senior pictures in high school. I'm going to do it right now. It's either that or I go in and out and then eat a burger. One of the two, guys.
BYU Football with Kalani Sitake is presented by Ken Garff Honda of Orem, a proud supporter of BYU and the Cougar community. We hear Cougs.
Let's talk about our Cougars in the NFL for a moment. Former Cougar wide receiver Jordan Leslie to make the Cleveland Browns roster. Had the game-winning touchdown against the Bucs on the weekend. Jamal Williams used really well out of the backfield as a receiver for the Packers this past weekend. Taysom Hill didn't play as they went a lot with Hundley to see what he could do as they played the first and second string only. Daniel Sorensen had a team-high 5 tackles for the Chiefs against the Seahawks. And Harvey Longy is still getting things done there in New England with 4 tackles on the weekend. Welcome back to the show. Back with Matt Bushman, BYU tight end. We talked about your first game, 3 catches, and one of them was the longest play of the game. It was a 36-yard reception from Tanner Mangum. That kind of connection that you have with Tanner, is that something where he often just says, I'm going to chuck it up, go find it, big man?
I think after spring, I kind of started feeling more comfortable. In the summer, we started getting that chemistry with the quarterbacks. I started feeling better, started feeling more confident, more comfortable, and I think just during the summer, fall camp, and now he just has that trust to kind of throw up to. I have a bigger body than most DBs, so it should work most of the time if the ball's thrown at the right spot and everything like that. So, I mean, I'm happy that I'm getting the ball thrown to me, and he has that confidence and trust in me.
Kalani, when the ball was in the air on that particular play, you felt pretty good about it?
Yeah, I mean he's done it over and over and over again, and then I feel good about him catching a drag route and running it for 80 yards for a touchdown too. So he's done that in the past, and so he's got a lot of speed and he's deceptive. I mean, if you remember the spring game where he caught that one and just took off,
yep,
he outran a lot of fast DBs, and he just looked so smooth doing it. He had those long legs, and he's got that speed. So it's a little bit deceptive, and because he runs really smooth and a lot like Dennis Pitta used to run.
Do you want to be seen as good a hand-on-the-ground tight end, as a flex tight end as well, kind of be useful in both areas that way?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like as a tight end, we should have our hand in the ground most of the time, but when we go out in the spread and our slot receivers, it can be a mismatch also. But, I mean, most tight ends need to be able to block also, and they have to have our hand in the ground and blocking up against those defensive ends and linebackers.
Kalani, how is his blocking, by the way?
He's good. He wants to. That's the main thing. And I talked about his work ethic, and that's something that I think he can do. And it's just all a matter of if he wants to, and he does it. He goes against some really good DNs, and Sione Takitaki and Corbin, and those guys should prepare him for DNs he's going to see in the schedule and this weekend.
All right, time to turn the mat over to our studio audience for a moment here. Let's go to our live mic for a question, and we've got Russell Alley. You're on with Matt Bushman. Russell.
Hey, Matt, what's up, bro? Hey, I'm a big fan of both sports and come out and watch both games. So how do you feel since you were through with baseball through summer, not really participating with the football team much? How do you feel that helped you prepare for the football season?
Well, so when I got back from my mission, it was kind of a weird time. The football season was already started, so I couldn't participate. I was just working on my own, but then baseball season started, so I didn't really know what to do. I mean, I had the scholarship for football, and I have the spot on the baseball team, but I had to work harder. I feel like I had to work hard to please the football coaches and the baseball coaches. So it was a tough first couple of the first semester, the first couple of months. I was a backup behind some good outfielders on the baseball team, and it was just good learning little by little, having patience. I think that prepared me for the season, just to be ready for whatever, just to kind of learn, have the, mental smartness, intelligence of baseball and football. So once baseball season ended in the summer, I was able to focus on football completely, get back into things again, and just focus 100%, get that confidence and trust with the quarterbacks, and just work on my routes again. And I think it's worked out.
Now, Kalani, you know Mike Littlewood, the baseball coach, a little bit. You're able to play for two really good coaches. You've got Kalani, who everyone loves and we know quite well, and then Coach Littlewood is right there with him. I mean, you're blessed to have two really good guys working with you, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. They're two different types of coaches, but
how are they different?
Oh, big. Well, I feel like both coaches get really serious during the games, but that's just how it is. You have to be serious during the games. You have to be into it. Coach Littlewood, I feel like his practices are a little bit more military, just oriented. It's just a lot more, it's serious. The atmosphere is just a little bit different at football practice. You're a little bit more relaxed. The atmosphere just feels good. The coaches they don't get in your face as much. They have patience with you. The baseball coaches have patience with me, but it's just, it's just different. Just two different, people say Coach Kalani's a great players coach, and he knows how to win. Coach Littlewood is a players coach, but he also has that military style where he's serious and he wants to get things done. So it's just different, but both coaches know how to win, and I love that about them.
All right, let's take a question from Twitter from Matt. This is from @Hutch_Coug. What is the number one thing that you want to work on against LSU?
Against LSU, I think I need to be more physical in my route running and just to be able to create that separation. The coaches were saying I kind of get into my route to try to use my speed a little too fast instead of slow playing things and just kind of tricking the defense into thinking that I might be blocking or thinking I might be running one way and just cut the other way. So I think that just being more physical, blocking also, there's going to be some big guys. I think some of their defensive ends weigh 300 pounds. I weigh 230. I just need to have that. I need to be out there ready to fight and just block my tail off.
All right, Kalani, the kid did okay. Good job. Way to go, Matt. Good to have you on here tonight. All right, Matt Bushman, everybody. That's Matt. He's gone. You good? Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. All right, he's out of here. All right, we at Ken Garff Nissan of Orem are improving things for our customers. To see how, come visit our showroom located on University Parkway. Ken Garff, we hear Cougs. After the break, we're taking your questions for Kalani. This is BYU Football with Kalani Sitake.
I thought me and Littlewood were the same. Be more military. Huh? No, hey, this guy told me to be myself, and that's all I'm gonna do. You're more handsome. Huh? You're more handsome. That would have sounded better coming from a female. Lincoln Peterson. There he is. I'm out of here. I'm sorry. Like, what's the difference between tie? 30 seconds. Yeah, tie's great. Still has a southern accent.
Remember that time Matt Usher left in the middle of the show? He's out.
Yeah.
At the same time.
With trips to the right, Tanner looks and throws there. Catch made by Pau'u. Pau'u makes a man miss. Stays on his feet into the end zone. Touchdown for Neil Pau'u. That is the exciting play of the game, presented by Nissan, a proud supporter and partner of the BYU Cougars. Nissan, innovation that excites. We are back in Studio C for more BYU football with Kalani Sitake. So last year, the first game of the Kalani Sitake era was in Arizona, and the first touchdown of the game was scored by Braden El Bakri, and that was his first ever touchdown as a BYU Cougar. First touchdown of this season was Neil Pau'u. That's his first touchdown as a BYU Cougar. So the new guys love you. They love you getting him into the mix right away.
Let's get Matt one, this weekend. Let's get a bunch of guys a bunch of touchdowns, and so we get
All right, it's that time where we go Cougar Nation one-on-one with the coach, both in our live audience and on social media. We've got live audience questions and from Twitter as well, ready to roll. We're going to start things off here in studio. Let's hear from Lincoln Peterson. Lincoln, you're on with the coach.
So, Coach, what aspect of the team are you wanting to see the most improvement from before facing LSU in New Orleans?
Good question, Lincoln. I think we need to see some more points on the board, and not a lot of mistakes. I mean, offensively, we need to keep drives going, and I don't think we did well enough with third downs. But I think, Greg, you told me last week that our average third down distance was 9 yards, so that needs to improve, and we just can't make mistakes like we did. We had penalties that killed drives, and even if we do have mistakes along the way, we need to respond better. So that's what I'm looking forward to on offense. Defensively, just trying to get more big plays, and special teams just not calling a timeout when Rhett makes a field goal. Yeah.
Lincoln, thank you. Nice hat, by the way. That's a good-looking hat. Sweet. All right, let's go to Twitter for this one. This is from @BYU Loyal Cougar. For Kalani, this is the questioner. This person says, my wife is in labor.
Oh, gosh. Here we go.
Like now. We're watching the show online. Any Cougar-themed names you'd suggest for our baby?
Oh, man. Yeah, hey, just whatever your wife decides, just go with it. So that's all I can say. And I'm glad you're in the delivery room. That's a good first step right there. So stay there, and then whatever name she chooses. Does that work? Yeah.
Now,
if you're questioning it, then go to the Book of Mormon. There's a bunch of names there. So.
Do you have to be Polynesian to go with Kalani? Could they go with Kalani if they want to? I mean,
no. I mean, so at the Fan Fest a couple weeks ago, someone told me that they named their dog Kalani. So it's probably the most obedient. Thing here, probably the most obedient and friendliest dog around. That's okay.
Just not very military in his movements.
He's having too much fun as a dog. No. Just so you know that Coach Littlewood and I are good friends, and so I'd like to think that I thought I was a lot like him.
I think you're a tough guy too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not military. That's the only thing, and so I need to improve on that.
All right, back in studio. We've got Michelle. Is it Saltzgiver?
Saltzgiver.
Okay, you're on.
So, Coach, at the game on Saturday, I know the heat was affecting a lot of the fans. Was it affecting the players as well, especially with all of their gear, with how hot it was?
There's no way they should ever complain about the weather. So, after having a complete rainstorm in the bowl game, and then even in spring ball, so I think they're happy about. I don't think that was even an issue. We have those air-conditioned fans on the sideline, so there's really no excuse for them to complain about it. But no, I don't think it caused an issue. In other games, you're seeing guys that are cramping up and stuff like that, but that didn't happen to our guys. We're conditioned well, and our strength coach does a great job with them. Our strength staff does a great job with them. So I don't think that was a factor. I heard a bunch of fans needed medical attention, and so yeah, they should just give out, free snow cones to cool everybody down. And sorry, but no, I'm not. That wasn't. I don't think that was a factor. Our opponent had to play in the same heat too.
All right, Twitter question, @_Schofield1. Coach, what's going to be the most exciting aspect of the game, besides winning it, this Saturday?
The most exciting?
Yeah.
Just getting there and playing the game and seeing our fans and entertaining. I think I've said it before, we just want another chance at playing. We didn't feel like we showed enough in the first game, and so the second week we hope we do what we're capable of. That's the only thing that I'm really looking forward to this weekend, is just performing better than we did last week.
All right, break time. The coach's closing comments are coming up next. Our final segment of Q&A has been wrapping up. Looking for a more convenient way to shop at Smith's? Try Smith's Click List. Order online or pick up curbside at the store. Visit smithsfoodanddrug.com/clicklist for details. More Kalani Q&A coming up after this break. This is BYU Football with Kalani Sitake.
Coach, when do you guys leave us?
Back studio.
On Friday.
Is Julian cool with getting
Friday morning.
back people there?
Early late morning.
Okay.
Practice.
So during the first dance, we'll just get back to the
You can always go a little bit with that. That's a good thing. No, it's just, Jan comes up with me too. I didn't want to give away all the good names, So you're supposed to take your father-in-law's name. Do that. Yeah, that's hard. Chris.
Hey, Greg is a good name too.
No, you should name your son Wrubell. That'd be awesome. I'm wearing a hat next week. Me and Greg are wearing hats next week. We'll wear the one that I've been wearing in practice, the big one.
Orange hat. David, be good.
Really?
Oh, be good. Right here. Right.
I thought it was Johnny.
Joe Strohs. Now, there we go. Hometown, right there.
Julian, chat first?
Chad is first.
Okay.
BYU Football with Kalani Sitake is presented by Ken Garff Volkswagen of Orem, a proud supporter of BYU and the Cougar community. We hear Cougs.
Welcome back for our final segment of Q&A for Coach Sitake. And as always, use the hashtag Sitake Show, hashtag Sitake Show to get your questions in for the coach, social media, and in studio. Here we go. We've got another questioner at the mic. His name is Chad Harrison. Chad.
Hi.
You got Coach Sitake.
Coach, which player or coach has the worst taste in music?
I'm not going to go there. Come on. No, they all have great taste in music. So I guess I'd be nobody.
All right.
Which player? I mean, there's a good portion of the team that doesn't like country, and I'm the kind that likes everything. So there's good music all around. And if there's any confusion or arguments about it, we'll just put on church music that settles it. So.
Are you the kind of guy that if you're in your office, do you ever have any music playing?
Yeah, I think well, usually if I'm working and doing something really, that takes a lot of attention, I do it. So I can get sidetracked once in a while. There's just some songs that come on, you got to stop working and just sing it. You know? I'm not going to tell you which ones, but yeah, no, I mean, you know what they are. Sometimes it's embarrassing, so it's okay. I don't want to embarrass my kids too much.
Okay. He's a Taylor Swift guy. We know that. We know that.
Who isn't?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. All right. Next up, David Good is at the mic.
How you doing, Coach? With LSU having better press cornerbacks than what we saw with Portland State, how do we get a better rhythm in offense and being able to get off the line quicker and not allowing their safeties to kind of press and stop the run?
Good question. The first part is that you need to mix it up and have control downs. So I mean, when you're dealing with 3rd and long or even 1st and 25, that right away that alerts the DBs that you're probably going to be in passing situations. So the key is to keep them on their heels and keep them guessing. If we're always consistently as an average on 3rd and 9, then you're probably knowing as a corner that you're going to be dealing with a pass. And so that makes it harder. Now, if they're having dealing with being the run fit and having to make tackles and runs, if say it's 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, then you're keeping them guessing there, you know. So, and the other part is Portland State's corners weren't, it's not like they were horrible. They had a couple good guys that are getting NFL attention, and then they have a guy that played at Oregon and started for them in national championship games. So it's not like they're just easy to beat. But the main thing is we feel confident in our corners playing against our receivers, and our receivers did well all camp. So we just need to make sure that that we get in better situations to put our receivers in. It's not fair when you're always constantly in a passing situation.
All right, folks, thanks for your questions. Back to wrap things up. This is BYU Football with Kalani Sitake.
If you have the worst angles, come up and talk so I can look thinner.
I didn't write that question.
I need all the help I can get. You didn't?
No, my buddy did, and he named his son. His middle name's Devin. He didn't pick Sitake or Kalani.
That kid's gonna come out with a southern accent. Like country music and probably wants to kill a deer. If you name him Sitake, then he would came out singing songs, you know, with farm, stuff like that. Yeah, it's called wood. So real quick, my wedding ring, this is my second one of the same one. It's made out of wood, and they tell me that it's supposed to float in water. And so I'm with my wife in the ocean. It's kind of shallow, so I take my ring off and throw it, and it just sinks. So I'm gonna go buy another one in Hawaii. So they lied, false advertising. Just because it's made out of wood or something. Costly mistake. I should have thrown it into like a cup of water.
Back on the air in 30, you're off 60 after that. We're looking at the final minute. Screaming both sides. You done a great job, by the way. Awesome crowd. Thank you.
It's all your work, Aaron. This will be a quick applause blank.
All right, wrapping things up here in Studio C tonight, Kalani, BYU, LSU, Superdome in New Orleans. What a great environment.
Yeah, big-time stadium, big-time opponent, you know, and BYU tends to show up to these type of games, and so let's make some big-time plays and have a big-time result.
And let's see Cougar Nation at the Superdome in New Orleans on Saturday. Absolutely. Folks, wonderful crowd. Thank you for all for being here. If you want to be here with us next week, where these folks are tonight, all you have to do is go to BYUCougars.com/Sitake Show, 1 p.m. Eastern next Monday to reserve a spot in next Tuesday's audience. We will talk to you next Tuesday, 8 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Mountain. For Matt Bushman, who left, Coach Kalani Sitake, and these great BYU fans, I'm Greg Wrubell. This has been BYU Football with Kalani Sitake live from Studio C. We'll see you next week.